still.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying there's nothing not to enjoy there, but you know, just.
Yeah.
Anyway, hello internet. One of you that are here. This
Hey there.
is Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9003, and unfortunately, the entirety of the U.S. population is falling down the VTuber hole. And
You included.
I
Actually, all of us.
not really. Again, it's thanks to my ability to just completely disconnect from any community. I'll watch the
Yeah, I mean,
highlights
fair
and
enough.
I'll throw
Fair
Gura
enough.
up on the background if like she's streaming, but
Yeah.
that's literally just because fucking nobody is putting out videos right now that I watch.
Yeah.
Like
Same, honestly.
Sargon's doing his whole I'm shutting down my channels and starting up shit somewhere else thing. Computing Forever basically got neutered. Leafy's gone again. Who else do I
Yeah.
watch? Styx Hex and Hammer only makes 3 10-minute videos early in the morning. And I only click on like a quarter of Tim's videos, and I only click on maybe 1 out of every 10 quartering videos.
Yeah. Same, honestly. Actually, I don't even follow the quartering or Tim anymore.
I
Is the difficult thing.
I follow the quartering specifically just so I can see what's going on in general. Like
That's fair.
his titles pretty much his titles combined with the thumbnail pretty much just give me the gist of the story. I can just move on. I
Yeah.
don't actually have
That's
to
fair.
watch the video.
That is fair.
Tim, he repeats himself a lot, so I don't tend to watch
Yeah,
too much of his videos
he just
anymore.
says the same thing like 5 times, and that's the video.
Guys, somebody did something stupid. It's time for me to say the same fucking thing I've said all along.
Yeah.
It's that fucking.
And look, listen. I'll say this.
No,
We don't know all the facts,
no,
but we
we
will.
don't. Now I'm just trying to come from a fair and balanced perspective here. And I know people say I'm milk toast, but this beanie stays on my head.
Yeah, he's not gonna wear the MAGA beanie.
He's not gonna
What a
wear the
shame.
MAGA beanie.
He
Fucking
should though.
pathetic.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got the Norwegian, we got Max, and we
Yeah.
got Gray lurking in the background. So let's see.
What kind of horrible
Because
shit we start?
do you know what? We did just do a Fate story recently, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
So how do you
Sure,
guys
that was
then?
last week.
Yeah, it was.
It
How
did
do you
shit all.
guys feel about? Oh, geez, there's. How,
Well, he's thinking. That's never good.
Ooh, how do you feel about Harry Potter My Hero Academia?
Absolutely disgusted.
Oh wow, that's even worse. Oh wow, I hate this a little bit less than I did previously, but I hate it a little bit more because of this thumbnail. Alright, so the
Ooh.
link is going to be in the Discord found down below. If you want to follow along, it's there. But of course, I'm supposed to
No
remind
thanks.
everyone not to contact the
God.
authors in any form of
God.
circumstance because the Twitch considers that harassment. With that being
Great.
said, Fairy Tale Dragon Slayer, I know your fan is probably listening because apparently they're everywhere and they're spying on you. And if you ever talk shit about me, I'll fuck you up. Yeah, eat a dick, Fairy Tale Dragon Slayer. Eat a fucking
We're
dick.
going here again, really.
Fight me.
Yes. I'd watch that.
Max, do you think I should invite him to a cage match? You know, like
Yeah.
what KSI did with
Do it.
Logan Paul, just fucking
Do it.
sell tickets to me kicking the shit out of Fairy Tale Dragon Slayer.
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm going to say no.
No.
Cringe.
I'm going to say no. Because emergency services will end up being called. I don't know who for, but I want to be the one making the call.
That's fair.
Nah, dude. The ambulance won't be able to come in time. You're gonna fucking need to call the morgue.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm a fucking male model. Dude, you're like one step of fat below I have a harem of cat girls in perfect world. Anyway,
I mean, he fucking looks like the type of guy.
he really does. Harry Potter My Hero Academia. Somehow, you know it's going to be a good, coherent story when the summary starts with that. Somehow, a young Harry Potter managed to land Hisashi Midoriya as one of his babysitters, and in typical Potter fashion, everything spirals out of control.
I'm gonna commit harakiri.
What the fuck is...
Bonsai.
So I just want to point out this is the profile picture.
Oh. Not a fan of the art style.
Not only am I not a fan of the art style, just blatantly using the fucking Midoriya outfit.
So,
Big cringe.
do we have any fucking clue about Izuku's dad aside from he exists? And he's got a fire quirk or something, right?
Yeah, he's got a fire breathing quirk. The thing is that I can't actually remember anything. As far as I'm aware, he's overseas on long distance business, action.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't remember anything beyond that. I only got up to the Island, I believe. So I stopped at the movie. I never watched the movie, and I didn't really read beyond that either. So I don't have too much knowledge, if anything past that point explained the dad at all. But
Oh boy, do I watch Gray's stream too.
What's
Gray
streaming?
he just started
Gray's-
playing WoW.
Oh, of
Yeah,
course.
poor guy.
He just started playing World of Warcraft and put it up
It
for
finally
stream in
loaded.
Discord.
Yeah.
I actually
taken 30
genuinely,
minutes.
because I'm writing this story with Gray, I actually genuinely want to get back into WoW. But then I just
Why? No.
because, dude, I put like 6 years into it, so it's like one of
Yeah,
those things.
That's 6 years too many.
I know, right?
Sunk
But-
cost fallacy.
Well, it's like, no, I kind of
10.
want to get back into it, but it's like every single time I look at the decisions they're making for upcoming changes, I'm just like,
Yeah.
wow, I kind of don't want to get back into it.
Mm,
So,
It's a fucking Blizzard game,
author's notes. The author isn't obnoxious and managed to just put the author's notes that are required into the story. Shocker.
That is astounding.
Yes. Notes. Harry Potter timeline will be accelerated up 200 years so it can fit with the BNHA timeline.
Wait, not 200, just 20.
I thought the BNHA took place in 22.
Yeah, but still, you said 21st. So why?
If I'm gonna fucking insult him, I gotta know dates and times.
Gotta get receipts.
Real life timeline? Okay. That no, doesn't help me. This doesn't help at all. What? Doesn't.
Check the events, I guess.
No, that actually helps less!
Wow, impressive.
Fucking, this is retarded.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let's not put the time. Let's call it the timeline, but not actually put the time into the timeline. Alright, so we got months, we just don't have years.
Yep. Years. What are you, Polish?
Yes.
Damn.
Come on, where's the fucking timeline? Come on, come on, come on. Oh boy! I can't read that!
Moon runes. God.
What you... Oh.
Yeah. Hmm.
Year 0. Wow, fucking year 0. That fucking is so helpful.
Helps. Yep.
Anyway, as far as, like I said, as far as I'm aware, it's 22. XX, as far as I'm aware, for years. Because they specifically had... Because 200 years of quirks would be the 1800s. And there is no way that they managed to collapse society, but then make greater scientific advances during their Dark Ages than during the normal Dark Ages.
That's called gaming.
So, anyway, the author is retarded. I'm calling them retarded now preemptively. Because, A, they're moving the Harry Potter timeline instead of just being like blue Harry Potters now in this time period because, I don't know, you fucking sneezed on a time turner.
Yeah.
Literally magic. There is a world of literal freeform magic, and you're just like, nah, man, I gotta fucking accelerate this timeline by 300 years!
Yeah, people really should make more use of that. Like, Rowling literally went with the, fuck it, it's magic, I ain't gotta explain shit.
Yeah, literally. Like, more than I did with the Dark Souls story.
Like, you still explained it with, like, hyper-advanced quantum theory horseshit.
Well, yeah, but, you know, like I said, she literally just said, it's magic, it happens because it did. Meanwhile, I tried to, like, make it seem like it happened for a reason. But, yeah, I hate timeline acceleration. There's literal magic in one of your crossovers. Why can't you just use the magic to teleport them in? Like, that's literally less offensive than I'm gonna move the entire timeline of Harry Potter, which only happens in the way it does, specifically because it happens at the time period it does, forward in time.
Offensive. God. Fuck.
It's just like, literally, it's not even like, oh, well, you know, cameras or whatever. It's like, no, it's not even that shit. Literally, Voldemort's rise to power was because of World War II.
The Nazis.
Direct result of World War II, he rose to power. So unless you're saying because 200 years after World War II, this guy rose to power, fuck off.
I mean, World War III can always happen.
Pretty sure World War
They're
III in the
bombing
My
me.
Hero Academia world was just when everyone got quirks and declared anarchy.
Based.
J-Reg style.
Ah, yeah, double based.
This will be a
Fucking
partial
J-Reg.
AU because UA Academy will start in September instead of April.
Damn.
But why?
Okay.
That's such a...
Western. Not Japan.
Yeah, I guess. It's just fucking weird. It's like the Worm stories I see where it's like, Taylor has an AU power. Also, in this AU, Hookwolf's naked. It's like, what?
Yeah.
But why? Like, what relevance does that have?
It makes the author's pee-pee hard.
Yeah, apparently. 5-year-old Harry Potter was quirkless.
Wait. I think I know why no one's here, Sneaky.
Oh, what's that?
You forgot to ping.
I suppose I did forget to ping, didn't I? I was too busy talking to Max. Max!
What's up?
Did I blame you?
For what?
Making me forget to tell people to watch me again.
I left 2 minutes before the stream started. You were talking with Arn at that time.
Nah, I still blame you.
Yeah. Fuck you, Max.
Harry Potter was quirkless, and I already hate this story.
Oh god.
Yeah, Harry Potter was totally quirkless. The magic and the hair changing colors and him talking to snakes and the teleportation. That's canon. That happened to Child Harry as he teleported. Yeah, he's definitely
It's
quirkless.
magic. What a quirk.
Yeah, God, I'm gonna fucking shoot myself if that's his explanation.
I can shoot you for you and then shoot myself.
Even in the small, humble town of Little Winging, Surrey, it was important enough for the government to send over personnel to St. Gregory's primary school to help the children his age discover what their quirks were. Okay. I have a lot of issues with this. Because one, it implies that Surrey, and Little Winging specifically, were unaffected by the, was it 50 years of Dark Ages that the world went through?
I don't know.
180 years? Like, it was a significant large sum of time that was spent where basically all the countries in the world just shattered and collapsed because people with superpowers were a thing. And, like, in canon, for My Hero Academia, they're literally just exiting, like, before Izuku was born by maybe 5 or so years, they were just exiting the collapse.
Government. Cringe.
Like, they were just putting, like, that's the explanation as to why, the government in Japan is so hyper-authoritarian, is because they're just exiting a period of anarchy, so they reacted by being hyper-authority.
Yeah, makes sense.
But God, I fucking hate this.
Yeah, there's Shadow.
We know there have been at least 8 generations of quirk users since the first one. Okay, yeah. That's fair, yeah. I just, oh god, I fucking hate it. I hate that. I hate these stories. I think I hate these stories the most, specifically because the authors just never take into account
anything.
Time, period. Like just time in general, or like when you take someone and you take them from Skyrim and you put them into not Skyrim. They don't take into account the magic. They don't take into account all the things that make the story the story. They're just like, oh well, because the character's there, that means it's still a Skyrim story. It's like, okay, well, if the Dovahkiin was in Smash Brothers, does that mean that's a Skyrim story now?
Yes.
Then we should just get rid of we should just get rid of the whole Smash Brothers section. Just move it all to Mario, because Mario's in it, so it's a Mario story.
Yes.
Anyway, the school was buzzing that day, and all the kids moved as if their limbs were charged with energy. But not their bodies, just their limbs. Okay, interesting.
Neat.
Missing a good opportunity for a joke where one kid literally had his limbs charged with energy because that was his quirk, but, you know, okay. Everyone that entered the nurse's room always exited with a smile that was larger than life and was quick to exclaim their quirk to anyone who would hear. So, wait, let me get this straight. Hyper-authoritarian Japan doesn't have mandated government quirk checks, but Britain does. Oh, you got a license for those jeans?
Why, my license for that superpower?
It's just...
Love me license, love me government, love me queen. Simple as.
I hate this
God
author
damn.
so fucking much. Yeah, the government just provides quirk checks, even though the fucking more authoritarian, more invasive government of the canon My Hero Academia verse of Japan doesn't do any of that. And fucking Midoriya's mother was the one who had to initiate a private check for her son because his quirk hadn't shown up yet.
I mean,
Yes.
logically, it would make sense for government to want like quirk checks because so they could find people with strong quirks to make their country stronger.
But the thing though is that Japan did that in canon by just having people mandate the registration of their quirk when they got it.
Yeah, I mean,
Because your quirk appears between the ages of literally just born and around 5.
yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
I don't know, maybe the Brits are different.
It's just really fucking dumb that apparently every kid only gets their quirk when they're 5, and apparently also everyone is completely clueless about their quirk until the nurse at school tells them what it is. Including the people that turned into frogs. No, they have no idea what's going on until the nurse says, "Oh, that's your quirk." Fucking... Harry Potter, the poor little... Also, what kind of fucking setup is this? Are they implying that the kids are being tested as they go into the nurse's room to be told what their quirk is?
Apparently.
Because I could believe it if, like, the nurse has some sort of quirk that lets her tell other people what quirk they have.
Well, yeah,
Sure.
the way to just predict the next 2 paragraphs, but yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that is in just a couple paragraphs.
Oh, because I was going to make a joke about the British medical system next, and about how testing an entire school of children should take at least 7 years.
Jeez, Sneaky.
Power of the government. Socialized health.
I guess the country's gone down even further downhill. Poor Shadow.
I mean,
Big rip.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
big
Shadow,
enough.
you're missing the part where apparently he's doing a fusion world of My Hero Academia and Harry Potter, except it's simultaneously in neither century that either story takes place in.
It's called having a brain.
But still, all the canon events happen, regardless of the fact that...
Of course.
What else would the author write then, if all the canon events didn't happen? Actually original thought process?
Nah.
Poor Max. Here poor Max is genuinely putting time and effort into writing a story where a major thing changes how all of Fate Stay Night would plan out. And he could have just done the canon events the whole time, with barely any changes.
I'm fucking sitting here like, okay, this event wouldn't happen, this event wouldn't happen, this entire relationship has changed because of, like, changes that occur 4 years early in the story. And this dude's like, nah.
I can't, it happens exactly as it did. Anyway, late bloomer, blah blah blah. Blah blah. Doctor was a nice, pretty lady. Blah 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 blah. Prepared her notes. Blah blah blah. Chatter. Blah blah blah. Took his hand. Blah 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 blah. Glowing like flashlight. And she realized then that he was quirkless. Whamp, whamp, whamp. And then Harry comes home to an aunt as he was crying, and Petunia and blah blah blah. She only turned paper white and shook with fear as she scanned the contents of paper. She whispered one thing to him with a pale face and white knuckles. Your freak of mother was just the same. Alright, so apparently if you have magic in this universe, you're quirkless.
Interesting.
Wow, isn't that super convenient to make sure that none of the plot of Harry Potter changes at all despite the introduction of quirks into the series?
Imagine that. Imagine my fucking surprise.
I got an ad and unmuted it just in time to hear the amazing line of "do something really bad." Nice.
Oh boy.
Well, you see, the Twitch ad told me to, officer.
Yep. That's my reasoning.
Oh, God. Why do these memes exist?
Life. I'm gonna assume you just saw the Tonight on Panzer and Girls one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Harry Potter was kicked out of the house once again. He was 6 years old, and it was during the peak of winter. Now, a reminder, everyone, the government is invasive enough to investigate the personal lives of every single student and make sure their genetics are in line with the government mandate, but isn't invasive enough to notice when a child is being literally kicked out of their home.
Oh, fuck.
Sounds like the British government to me.
Hang on.
At 6 years old during the peak of winter, one would have thought his relatives would be more sympathetic, but Dudley, who flaunted around with his quirk of being able to turn into a rubber ball...
Sneaky. I'm currently 2 channel points off 69 for 20.
Oh, that's so sad. Unfortunately, you're gonna earn 3 next.
Nah, I get like 5 or 10 or something.
Big rip. I guess we'll just have to spend channel points
Or
until
60.
you can manage it.
Yeah, but I can only spend like round numbers. So I'm forever stuck.
You are forever rip.
Fuck, dude.
Anyway, so yeah, that entire paragraph is a single sentence. It's just commas after comma after comma after comma. It's like editing early Grey work.
Yes.
Oof. I mean, yeah.
And
Not
then
wrong.
blah blah blah, shoving Harry around. Blah. His aunt screamed at him for breaking her china after being tossed into it by Dudley. And then she just threw him outside and slammed the door on his face.
Yeah, I mean...
Okay.
Like...
That's... Well, at least he's not being raped. It's sad that I have to say that for a Harry Potter story.
As a cat.
It's a fucking cat. He turned around the corner, blah blah blah, used white Chevy, blah blah blah. Yashi Midoriya clamored out. Harry, the Japanese businessman cried, "What are you doing here?" Harry blinked at the neighbor. Hello, Mr. Midoriya, how are you? And they knew each other. Blah blah, businessman from Japan. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. The two were familiar with each other because their mail was often mixed up, since Harry lived at number 4 Privet Drive and Mr. Midoriya lived at number 4 Privat Way.
Well,
I don't think that's how it works.
Normally, if there's a screw up like that, it's because, say, the numbers are like 132 privet drive and 123 privet drive. Like, that's an understandable fuck up. Not when the streets are completely different names.
Yeah. Also, Privat, really? Is that street Russian funded?
Privat drive.
Their good-for-nothing mailman, an old balding man, often messed up the streets. Okay. So, Petunia would often send Harry to switch their mail, as it was very common. Blah blah, he's trying to figure out why Harry was just standing out in the sidewalk without clothes on when it was super cold. And Yashi was like, oh wait, hold on a second. What the fuck? Why is he out here? Even though I was just thinking about that, I now have to ask myself again this, because now Harry looks cold. Harry, do you want to come inside? Blah blah blah. Petunia, her face paled. Nephew loves to sneak out. We were worried sick. Blah blah. She pulled Harry by his hair down the street and shouted at him before she grabbed his biceps with a bony grip and shook him.
Why?
Either Harry's biceps are fucking colossal, or her hands are small as shit. Because I cannot fathom how you would grip someone by only their biceps.
Good question. Yeah, that's true.
You insufferable boy, why'd you give Mr. Midoriya trouble? When we let you outside, we expect you to keep out of people's ways. But he was the one who took me inside. He said he wouldn't mind babysitting me again. And Petunia instead ignored him and continued to scold him. Dudley was demanding that he had an entire birth month instead of a birthday. Dudley threw a fit and destroyed the couch with his quirk.
The power of being fat.
Indeed.
And
Miss
what's American
Fig
quirk
had
out
to visit relatives for the entire month, and Aunt Marge was going to come down. And so they decided to just give Harry over to Hiyashi so they could take Dudley out for his birth weekends celebrations. And so anyway, yeah, he just started babysitting Harry. Yeah, he just started. He taught. They bonded, and he taught him how to cook. And blah blah blah. He taught Harry Japanese, and he taught Harry Japanese honorifics and how to use chopsticks. And bowing constantly.
Get all use Japanese culture.
Yeah, so we're basically the author is trying to hand wave why Harry acts like a normal Japanese person by the time he ends up in Japan for some inexplicable reason.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. Harry liked Mr. Midoriya, blah 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 blah. He always thought Mr. Midoriya was a better dad than he never had, blah blah blah. I have a son back in Japan, Izuku. Blah, 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 blah. He's about your age. Do you miss your family? Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. I love my son. I love my son. I chose my job and not a life with him, so I don't think I should be allowed to go back. He's all grown up now. Doesn't need me. It's never too late, though, Mr. Midoriya. You should totally abandon your job and go back to your family. Aren't you sending all of your money from your job to your family? And that's like probably the canon reason as to why Izuku has so much fucking shit in his room. Because they can afford to buy that money action figures and toys.
Oh god.
Also, Japanese abandoning their job. Cough, cough.
That doesn't happen.
Get out of here. Honor for my family.
She sent back the money I've been sending her ever since I took this job. So, apparently, he's been working long distance for literally the entirety of Izuku's life and has been sending all of the money. So, like, as I said, this is the author also canonizing this in his story. He sends all of the money he makes every month to Inko Midoriya. And she just divorced him, basically. Because she just sent back the money and he drifted off with a sad expression. Harry didn't have a quirk, blah, blah, blah. Harry hunting. Sometimes Harry just teleported places and turned people's wigs blue and shrunk things down and all that stuff. But he didn't have a quirk. He kept reminding himself that he didn't have a quirk despite doing all these things that, you know, are non-quirkless things, you know. And then, so basically all of the Harry Potter canon happens, you know, he teleports, turns wigs blue, vanishes glass, talks to snakes, goes on a school field trip. Hagrid shows up and said he had magic, rescued him from an island, letters raining down, all that fun stuff. And then that was 5 years ago! It's time for a time skip, everyone!
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
And Cyrus is dead.
Damn, I just got another rage shard. What the fuck?
Did all of Harry Potter canon just happen in 5 words? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, all of Harry Potter canon just happened. Absolutely not a single change to Harry Potter's entire storyline occurred at all in a world that's been accelerated by 200 years and massive societal shifts. Like, you would think that all of the people, all of the muggles, all the muggle children, I suppose you could say, would have even greater bonds between themselves that would cross house boundaries. Because they all grew up in a world where they were quirkless while everyone else had quirks. So they would all have grown up in similar societal situations.
Motherfucker just speedrun HP. World record. 5%.
Yeah, literally just accomplished 5 years of stages of canon in only 5 words. What a god.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, quirk showing up would have completely changed the entire fucking landscape of purebloods versus muggle. Wow.
Yeah.
The Malfoys would probably still be dicks, but not quite in the way they are in canon.
Yeah.
Except none of that matters.
Nope. Why would it?
People's Republic of America. Very nice.
It's worse.
Anyway, so
this
that was the first chapter, and boy, am I glad that we didn't have to read more of that, because that was fucking terrible. Let's see. Oh.
Oh,
Do we do it?
what is it?
Saints Row worm crossover.
How in the fuck?
I gotta click it. I gotta do it.
Okay, the real question is it Saints Row 1 and 2 or Saints Row 3 and 4?
It looks like this is Saints Row 2.
Like I've only played 3 and 4, and I know that 3 and 4 is where they went goofy and found their niche, but 1 and 2 was just a serious GTA clone.
No, this is post Saints Row 1, it looks like.
Okay.
Well,
I don't know, and I don't really care. It's getting kind of late, so I'm gonna head off, I think.
Saints Row 2 was
You guys have fun.
not quite as serious as Saints Row 1. They tried to do a more light-hearted but still having like dark moments version of GTA in Saints Row 2, which honestly I kind of preferred over 3 and 4's more cracky everything's for a joke style. Because like I felt like the whole gangster thing could still be told, but GTA told it all from a perspective of like an outsider who joins a gang and then slowly rises up through the world. While Saints Row 1 was like that, but Saints Row 2, 3, and 4 were always the gang's already been established, you're already the leader, now it's time for you to like win, basically. And I always thought that was a different start point from the story they could have told, from. But whatever. Yeah, so post Saints Row 1 it looks like. Saints Row Worm crossover. The link is in the Discord. When the Saints broke up, it signaled the beginning of decay. A decade later, Brockton Bay is a darker, more violent city. Actually, I'll ping Phoenix right over this post. Riddled with crime and swept up in a hedonistic live while you can energy. Carlos Mendoza wants to bring sanity back, but will he and his sister be able to live with the consequences? Carlos and Amelia, original characters. So, it looks like Carlos is that's Aegis, I believe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Aegis. So
original character replacing Carlos and original character replacing Amy, aka Panacea.
Well, why though? Like, actually, why?
I don't know. I actually don't know why. It only has 2 reviews and only 17 favorites. Either the siblings are replacing Aegis and Panacea, or they're sibling OCs with the same names. I believe they are... I have no idea. I think what he's trying to say is that in this AU, Carlos and Amelia are adopted siblings.
Mm-mm.
I honestly don't know. Author's note: have you ever thought to yourself, "Hey, I like Worm"? No, not really.
I like parts of Worm.
Yeah, I like parts of Worm. I don't. I
Like,
genuinely didn't understand why it became as popular as it did. Like, it told an okay starting story, basically.
mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't anything new. It wasn't anything really out there. It certainly was no literary genius work. The main character was extremely hateable. It's just, I only read it. Literally, the only reason why I read Worm was because I was running out of shit to read around that time, and I had discovered Worm and the Chronicles of Psycho Gecko, which was a sibling-like story. From a Reddit post about web serials, and I would read chapters of both during my wait for the bus in college, because I lived in an apartment complex and I had to wait for the campus bus to get to the apartment complex. And that could take anywhere from 5 minutes to 30. So that's when I read Worm and the Chronicles of Psycho Gecko. And once I stopped needing to use that bus, I stopped reading both Worm and Psycho Gecko. Because they were 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 stories at best. And I was just like, if I don't have to read these anymore, I'm not going to.
Yeah, fair enough.
I haven't even read Worm,
I know.
and I'm doing well.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
you're not really missing out on all that much. I don't regret reading it, just kind of...
I don't either. I'm just... It wasn't a story that kept me. The only reason why I ended up completing Worm is because I started reading Worm fanfic. And I was like, well, let me finish it up.
I will give Wildbow this much. I actually did like the ending.
Oh, the ending was good. Yeah.
I thought the ending was really well done, and then you told me
Yeah.
he made a sequel to it. I'm like, cool, so we're fucking everything over.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
I have it on my
like,
list to read. It's just behind literally everything else. Yeah.
Spoilers for a, 6-year-old web series at this point?
Yeah.
Just the ending with Taylor and her dad getting on the train to one of the other Earths, like, this is a really nice wrap-up.
Personally, I feel like he shouldn't have done the epilogue.
I think the epilogue was fine, but I do feel you're not wrong.
And I'm saying this from a narrative perspective. Like, I'm not saying the epilogue was bad or I didn't like it, because I did like it. I just feel like from a narrative perspective, wrapping up the whole story with Taylor dying in the heroic sacrifice of a story of a kid who naively wanted to be a villain,
and
a
having
hero,
watched herself become the monster in the process
right,
of being a hero.
redeems herself, fights the biggest bad, and ends up doing an act of self-sacrifice to finally put an end to the big bad. And then
it's
dies.
also nice and bitter. Yeah, it's also nice and bittersweet to the point of, like, she is so far gone, she is not aware that she became a monster that saved universes.
Right.
Like, she kind of forgets the goal outside of, I killed this golden thing.
Pretty much.
Where she doesn't even remember his name. It's like, this is just an enemy. I don't know who this is anymore, but I know they're a problem and I know I want them dead.
Yeah, basically. And it's... Alright, I'm here. Soon I won't be here because I'll end it. Fair enough. I thought she did die. You're telling me that she got on a train. Yeah, so basically, that's the other problem is with the end of Worm, Taylor dies, quote unquote. And then the epilogue's like, actually, she was perfectly fine because Contessa Magical Gun Science was able to shoot her in a non-lethal spot in the brain that also disconnected her powers, and then got her medical help, and then they just went to a different Earth and just lived happily ever after. And then he wrote a sequel that just fucking shit over everything. And as much as I dump on Ryugi a lot, he actually has a really good quote attributed to him about the sequel of Worm, which is Ward. Something along the lines of, the further I get into Ward, the more I realize that Taylor was not escalation prone or insane. She was a very sane woman in a very insane world. Because apparently Ward has just fucking gone off the rails.
Oh,
I remember seeing it in our thread. It's on one of the guys.
Yeah, like some of the retcons that he ended up retconning some of the events in Worm that like were either like sort of like implied or alluded to, just being like fucking way worse. Like Amy just full scale like rough raping Glory Girl. And it's just like, why?
That sounds unnecessary.
It is. Also, shards are now both personas and stands. And the reason why Glory Girl's shard works the way it does with its temporary shield that she gets isn't because of that's a restriction by the shard. It's because actually her shard is the cast-off shed skins of 5 other shards fused together, and so all the shards view Glory Girl as an abomination shard.
I found the quote. But more and more as time went on.
What does that have to do with her having a temporary shield then?
Oh, it's because the shard is super fragile and can't shield itself for long or something.
Okay.
Yeah, don't try applying logic here. That's the explanation we got. Oh, she's an abomination. What does that have to do with the shield being provided? Because it does. It's like, fucking, okay. Jesus Christ.
Okay, you know what? You know what would be a great little thing of like how to like, what does this shard being an abomination have to do with anything? Oh, the shield is the other shards trying to lock it out of their sight.
Oh, that could be so. That would be cool. Yeah. A different interpretation of the epilogue is that Taylor is having a coma theory trip right as she's dying. That fucking makes it so much fucking darker. Holy shit. That would actually be pretty good, to be honest. But anyway, so this author.
An acceptable interpretation.
This author. It's got superpowers and dark themes and gangs and world-ending apocalypses. None of that's original to Worm. But wished you had more of those things? No, Worm was pretty grimdark as is.
What is up with these, like, how happy must their life be that they go actively searching for worse stuff?
Not gonna lie, I forgot we're still at the hey I like Worm part. Yeah, alcohol, I need you. I need you to fix my lungs. Alcohol, I need you.
Wait. Hang on.
No, Shadow. Everyone, all the shard. Well, so the thing is that in Ward, all of the shards are now suddenly sentient, and like I said, they're more like stands or personas now than like superpowers attached to a person. And all of the stands hate Glory Girl's stand because they think it's an abomination because it's the cast-off remains of other stands. That's literally the best way I can describe it.
Yeah. So I'm bothered by the next sentence here.
Okay, yeah, wished you had more of all those things? I have! Luckily, I know a series of games with all of these things, a devoted fan base, and no representation in Worm fanfiction.
So the only Saints Row game that has that, all of that, is Saints Row 4.
Well, no, because in Saints Row 1 was gangs. Saints Row 2 was dark themes and gangs.
Yeah.
Saints Row 3 had gangs. And
Gangs
Saints Row
and crack.
Yeah, Saints Row 4 was the one with world-ending apocalypses, superpowers, and gangs.
Yeah. So why,
I also devoted fan base.
Most people, I'm gonna be honest, if you tell me to name a game series with superpowers, dark themes, games, and world-ending apocalypses, I'm more likely to jump to Prototype 1 and 2 quicker than I would ever jump to Saints Row.
That's
just
fair,
a
yeah.
thought.
Yes, here we go. Ryugi's full actual quote. But more and more, as time went on, it is be revealed that, no, Taylor was just making a completely accurate observation. And every hero around is 2 seconds from flying off the deep end. Ward has done more to convince me that Taylor was a calm, reasonable individual with a rational, unbiased view on the world than anything else ever. And it's fucking bizarre as hell to attach any of those words to Taylor. Yeah, that's how off the rails Ward is that it makes Taylor's decisions look justifiable.
Oh, that's not okay. That is actually not okay. Do you think he wrote Ward to try and feel better about how Taylor came across?
No, because Glory Girl's the main character in Ward. Yeah. No, he wrote Ward because he tried writing non-Worm stuff, and people didn't really like it too much. I mean, like, yeah, his other stories got somewhat of a following behind them, but, like, I'm talking, like, fractions of a percent compared to Worm. And his income was drastically bombing. Like, he used to make like 6,000 a month or something, and he was like down to around 1,500 by the time he started writing Ward, because people kept demanding a sequel to Worm because they liked Worm, and he's like, well, how about these other stories? And everyone's like, no, these aren't too good. And so he finally wrote a sequel to Worm, and he just didn't have no idea how to write a sequel to Worm.
Okay, so it's another instance of the fans didn't shut the fuck up and appreciate what they had.
Yes.
I'm getting so tired of that story. I'm getting so tired of fans ruining things they claim to love.
Well, actually, if you really think about it, it's a very fan thing to do, because they are fanatics. And fanatics do tend to destroy whatever they're fanatical about in their fanatical pursuit of it. Honestly, when I saw the bookmark on this fic, I thought it was using Gat Out of Hell. Oh man, dude, Gat Out of Hell was fucking hilarious.
That would have been perfect.
That would have been great. I'm gonna punch Satan in the dick.
You know what? If this was a story about how Johnny Gat adopts 2 kids, I'd be fine with this.
You know what? I'll accept it. Oh no.
It's all flat, Goodo. What's all flat? The land?
Prologue: The Fall from Grace. In the study of a small mansion east of Captain's Hill. Isn't it Capitol Hill? Anyone want to contribute here?
Fuck if I know.
Okay, fair enough. During a beautiful afternoon in late fall, a meeting had been called. They're coming for me. The group's tattooed arms, brightly colored purple clothing, and golden chains clashed horribly with the quiet, refined setting. The brigade. Oh god, fucking! I am going to shoot myself.
Oh no, Captain's Hill is a thing. It's where the Inbringer monument is. Apparently.
The brigade. Ever since the business with the Nine, they've been focusing on our operations, taking out our dealers, and patrolling our territory. 2 of the 3 lieutenants present nodded in agreement. One muttered a curse and took a swig of his beer. I've spoken with a few of those who we freed from the holding cells of our city's finest, and they've all reported the same 3 questions being asked by the heroes. Where is your headquarters? Who is your supplier? And where is Chase? I don't like where this is going. I don't like where this is going.
And yet, here we are. Along for the ride.
Indeed. I need more vodka.
I don't know about that.
Boss, why the fuck are we doing this shit? A gruff voice interrupted, coming from the Asian man in his early 20s. You know, it's kind of funny that he refers to Saints Row as a dedicated fan base, and he's shocked that there isn't more fan fiction of it because of how dedicated their fan base is. But then when it comes to actually writing a fan fiction story with Saints Row in it, he proceeds to be super vague and undescriptive about all of the characters from Saints Row, so he can be like, this is what each character from Saints Row looks like. Which is kind of weird if you think about it, because he's writing the story because he thinks the fan base is dedicated, and you wouldn't really have to describe what Johnny Gat looks like to a fan base that's dedicated to Saints Row.
You wouldn't think so.
So, I'm just saying. But I think this author might be retarded.
Probably.
Just send a few guys to take him out. Hell, I'll do it myself if you want. He sipped his beer again. The Hispanic youth shot him a look, but stayed silent, while his last lieutenant, a slim African-American man, rubbed his chin in thought. No, Johnny, silencing them will only ruin our reputation and brand us as murderers.
Well, it's surprisingly forward-thinking of you.
I'm sorry, but the events of Saints Row 1 beg to differ about the murder. There was a lot of murder in Saints Row 1.
Yeah.
So I've heard.
We must move carefully to keep the public's ambivalence. He turned his head, his eyes scanning Milo and Dex from behind the ornate bone mask. Ah, yes, it's Marquise, who apparently has just submitted himself to the Saints and is not the leader of a gang.
Wasn't the Marquise's big thing like, I'm running this city single-handedly and there's nothing you jackasses can do to stop it?
Pretty much every other gang in the city was, I'm only tolerating you, don't step out of line or I'll fuck your shit up.
Yeah, and Marcus is like, no, you're just not going to do this. Just, no.
Yeah.
The gangs ran sections, Marquise ran the gangs. Without being part of them.
Pretty much, yeah. It's very, when you're fighting a guy who can grow bone and then wield the bone like a weapon and wield your bone like a weapon.
Yeah, that's right. That was the big thing with him, right? Like his was one of the things where it's like the Manton effect is a thing. His power doesn't care about the Manton effect.
Well, no, his power specifically was the other side of the Manton effect, where most powers don't affect people. His affected people.
Yeah. Well, like that's why it was so dangerous, because like that was, never mind a rarity, that was like a 1 in a million odd.
No, I mean, yeah, he grew fucking bone and could control bone. He had bone kinesis, as far as I was aware.
Yeah.
So, that's yeah. That's kind of the person you don't want to fuck with when he's just like, I'm just gonna stand over here by this coffee shop and you're gonna die. And there's shit you can do about it. Because it doesn't matter how tanky you are. It doesn't matter what your brute rating is if he just yeets your brain.
Oh, is that how his power got around it?
Okay.
Okay, so he could manipulate his own bone, and if there was enough exposed bone for him to see, he could also control that of others, which that would completely bypass the Manton effect, because the Manton effect is specifically like, you can't go through the person.
Right.
What if it's just there? I mean, who am I?
Right, so basically you could stab someone and be like, your bone is now my bone.
Considering how weird these shards were, I would not be surprised if there is a conceptual effect in motion as well. Like, I have fused... this bone shard is now fused to your femur.
My body is the bone of my bone! Your body is now the bone of my bone!
Please, God, no. Please, no. Lots of fun to be had with reality marble arias.
So would you say, Max, that he beat people by putting his bone into them?
That was such
by
low-hanging
boning
fruit,
them?
you know it. That was low-hanging fruit, and you should be ashamed. But yeah, no, like that makes this dude super dangerous, because like all he has to do is get one good chunk of your skin gone, and never mind the bleed out potential, you just gave him a new weapon.
You.
Also,
you can certainly say his bones aren't made of glass.
apparently he had exceptional practice in concealing his emotional reactions because of his power. Was he literally just like... Wait, that was in one of the interludes?
Yeah, when Amy went to prison.
I don't get it. Is he literally using his power to just keep his skeletal structure rigid?
No, I think it was the immense amount of pain that doing it caused constantly made him just develop an amazing poker face.
Okay. I could see that.
It's sort of like a Wolverine situation. Where just because he can heal from the fact that there's claws exiting between his knuckles doesn't make the fact that he has nerves right there any less real.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Marquise is a mere lieutenant. All of you go... Mid-sentence, Johnny shot to his feet at the brigade, chase side, kicked back a rug, spine a bone into the floor from his heel. All of you go, the back door will be watched, exit via the cellar. He kicked the rug back over the bone with his other foot as it flattened itself into the gap between the hardwood. I'll hold them off. Come on, we can take them. Dex good, I have my reasons. But Chase signs them with a gesture, blah blah blah, trailing between his spur bone, blah blah, material warped like putty, thin, sinking between the floorboards. Get out! They'd all seen him in this mood before. Johnny obeyed. Dex left the room first. Moment, Milo. Oh boy, so yeah, what we got here, so Milo, the leader of the 6th Street Saints, 4th Street Saints? 8th Street Saints? Whatever.
Some street.
The Saints, from the leader of the Saints, his younger brother is Carlos, also known as Aegis in canon, but in this AU, he had an older brother, who turned into a gang leader. So yeah,
Sure,
basically
why not?
just erase Aegis' character completely.
Yep, sure.
And, I have a mission for you then. In that closet, my daughter is hiding. I need you to take her out of here, but you have a daughter? Just take her, keep her safe. Amelia, dear, go with Milo. Right, so like I guessed it correctly, it is adopted siblings, and they did grow up together. Blah, 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 yeah, so, honestly, all things considered, the writing in of itself is grammatically correct. The spelling and grammar is perfectly fine. The dialogue is fine. The action and the description of action is fine. The interaction between the characters is fine. It's just the plot idea itself is garbage. And maybe I would consider this idea a little bit less garbage if the author didn't cannibalize Marquise to do it, and then insert his OC to be in charge of the gang, and then also have Carlos's and Emilia's characters be completely overwritten by all these changes. Maybe if it was just literally just the Saints show up in, you know, Brockton Bay one day after having run away from Stillwater, because that's canon. They show up in Brockton Bay one day, and they set up shop, and it's literally just like a the story tells like a Saints game, where you're rebuilding the gang. I actually would be interested in a story like that, but instead, the storyline of the first game is being like jammed into the pre-canon of Worm to produce some abomination of a story where half of the characters are now wildly different, and that's just off of the basis of the idea that changes, let alone how they're implemented. Like, one of the major reasons, it's even cited in canon, one of the major reasons why Brockton Bay was able to keep afloat for so long and wasn't in a constant state of massive decline was because they had a massive amount of medical tourism due to Panacea. And if she's not going around giving out free healing anymore, in fact, in hell, she hasn't even triggered with her abilities yet, so she might not even get maximum shaper control over all biological life this time around. Because you're changing everything about her storyline. But, I mean, of course, she's still gonna get it because the author's an absolute hack and couldn't let the canon powers be let go of, even though he's letting go of the personality history and, literally everything else.
You sound just a little upset there, friend.
Oh, just a little upset.
Just a tiny
smidge.
bit.
Fucking infinitesimal amount of upset. Anyway, so The Saints were ripped apart. Blah blah blah. Blah blah. Oh, so apparently, no, Milo wasn't leading the gang, even though that Marquise was described as the lieutenant. The author actually got it wrong and forgot how nouns work. And Chase / Marquise was actually the gang leader. And Milo was the lieutenant.
Oh, of course.
And now he's the leader.
Sneaky, it was clearly obvious if you put more than 2 seconds of thought into it.
Of course, my bad.
A good 20 minutes at least are needed. Come on.
Also, their entire gang has been dismantled. Wait, Milo, why don't you run the gang? What? Yeah, you're a good guy. I'll vouch for you. Vouch for you with who? The entire gang's just been dismantled. You literally just said the gang was dismantled. Who are you going to vouch for him with? Literally, him just coming up and being like, I'm the gang leader now. Everyone else would be like, okay. Because there's no one else to say no to him.
How does that go? Like, all right, guys, show of hands. Who wants to be the new leader?
I hate this.
I can tell you hate this.
Why don't we go down to the dock workers and recruit from them? Oh, yeah, of course, just go to the dock workers! Right, and then get tied up in Taylor's plot line so he can recruit all 3 of them into his gang. Yeah. Okay. Sure, I'm sure Taylor's mom even survives now because of this. Hey guys, remember all those dark themes I was talking about putting into the story? We're not gonna have any of those. Fucking, it's just... Microbrain. Also, Med Hall. Apparently Milo works at Med Hall now as well. Every day was like this, all-nighters, blah blah blah. Complained to HR about it. All he achieved was getting unpaid leave while he did an internal investigation. I mean, okay, well at least he got that accurately. He couldn't afford to lose his job at Med Hall. I'm actually kind of surprised that they hired a Hispanic, and he is high enough to do paperwork for them.
Yeah, especially at Med Hall.
Yeah, financial paperwork to boot. Managing overseas shipping reports. That's kind of interesting. I didn't know white supremacy was so diverse. Working downtown meant being around E88 gringos. You know, maybe they'll be a little bit less likely to kick the ever-living shit out of you if you didn't call them gringos. Just just saying, you know. I'm not saying they won't, because they are white supremacists and you are non-white. But if the choice is, hey, we could keep drinking this beer or we could go kick the shit out of this Mexican, and then the Mexican's like, what are you looking at, gringos? It's like, well, he made the choice for us. Just throwing that out there. Also, I'm kind of shocked that he got promoted as far as he did inside of Med Hall as Hispanic, while also basically thinking about everyone as gringos. Because when you have thoughts on unless this guy has like the best fucking poker face in existence, but your thoughts tend to show on your face when you're looking at someone and talking to them. And if you go, man, what a fucking gringo, as you're looking at them, they can tell. And the people in charge of your job won't promote you if you look at them with distaste every single time. Or refuse to interact with the other white employees. Just, kind of confused about this. I guess affirmative action has its roots deep, I suppose. Anyway. Milo had to wear an undershirt beneath his long sleeve button up. Why would you not wear an undershirt underneath the button up? Do people actually do that, Max?
That would probably depend on the material. Like I know one of the reasons that some people I know that wear undershirts is because the material of the button up isn't comfortable. There's also what is it? Also the fact that depending on the job, you could probably get away with that one.
I mean,
like if you're not in a labor-intensive job and the material actually feels good against your skin, yeah, some people might. If it's really thin material, though, usually not.
I just can't. I can't. I have always worn an undershirt with button-ups, regardless of how formal or informal the job was. If I was wearing a button-up for the job, it had an undershirt with it. Whatever. Anyway, if someone saw his old saint tattoo, and it would be an offense that would get him written up. No, I'm pretty sure it would be an offense that would get you shot. You know, being an ex-Saints gang member and a Hispanic in E88 territory. You know, I would just say you probably won't be found. A little bit. They're very diverse and accepting. Yeah. Apparently. He left the building and headed for a nearby bus stop, then boarded a few minutes later. He boarded the bus stop or the bus? His suitcase clunked to the floor of the bus as he found a seat next to some lady with a scared chihuahua. He sat through the familiar bumps and shakes, blah blah blah. His old buddies at rim jobs, maybe they'd reconsider the name. No, that's part of the joke. Sometimes the bus drivers just stopped as soon as you pulled the call cord. Sometimes they drove 3 blocks before stopping. His bus driver of the day seemed to be the latter, leaving him to walk the extra distance alone. He barely even noticed the other people who got off at his stop. That is, until he heard the footsteps behind him. He spun around just in time to see the familiar-looking black man in a green shirt, flanked by 2 more Hispanics wearing black and purple skull bandanas. Hey guys, I don't have any money. I gotta go home. Can we do this later? We just want to have a chat, Mendoza. You haven't been keeping up with your bills. Anton, you're with the Suns now? Yep, at least I run with someone. And they all surrounded him. Join us or die. And then, that evening, he staggered home, beaten and ragged. The briefcase was still intact, however, and that was all that mattered. He missed the days when the Saints kept things sane. Yeah, okay, so it's just it's just really generic, attempting to wedge all of Saints Row 2 effectively into Worm. Which, I mean, is with a better Saints Row to do that with, I guess. I mean, one would think maybe Saints Row 4 would have a slight idea better. Superpowered gangs being a thing in that. But,
yeah.
I mean, Saints Row 2, narratively speaking, is a better one to inject into Worm, so fair enough. But again, like I said, it'd be one thing if he just injected Saints Row into Worm. It's another thing that he's decided to mutilate a lot of the Worm canon characters to end up in the Saints, including some of the heroes. And it's just like, why? And, again, it'd be one thing if, the Saints went along, did the Saint thing, did Saint stuff, and then, because they had to team up against the bad guys, the heroes ended up joining them because that's how it kind of worked in Saints Row. And that'd be one thing. Because they were already still their canon selves, and then the Saints recruited them. But no, it's like we got major fucking changes with Aegis, being the younger brother of the Saint leader, Amelia never being captured by the Brigade. It's just also the thing with the Brigade versus Marquise is the reason why Marquise didn't murder the Brigade was because his daughter was there. And she's not there anymore because Milo took her with him. So there was literally nothing to stop Marquise.
Oh, actually, yeah. The entire reason that Marquise lost there was because he was protecting Amy. And with Amy gone, he could go ham.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm pretty sure Wildbow does a great job of just not even like, this isn't even inferring. He's like, if he hadn't been protecting her, New Wave would probably be dead. If not dead, not in probably in a much worse state than they are today.
Yeah, literally captured by the brave members of the Brigade after a fierce struggle with severe injuries for everyone present. No,
No, there'd be at least one or two people dead.
I was gonna say, at least have a couple people fucking die. Like, Jesus Christ.
Like Mark died in the course of this.
God, I fucking... Nope, gotta stick to the stations of canon.
I wish it was this easy, Sneaky, for you and me to write. Like, let's be real here, man. We are held back by our need to consider butterfly effects.
Oh, I know, right? Why couldn't we just stick to the stations of canon and completely just write a butchered fanfiction that utterly disrepresents our love for the fandoms we're writing for?
Like, again, I'm sitting here with this Fate Stay Night story and just like, I want to change this and this and this. This is how they'll be changed. These interactions don't happen. Fucking, I'm literally writing a new route that borrows bits and pieces of knowledge from all three routes. Because this route doesn't correspond to any of them in any way whatsoever. As a result.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's the same thing with the WoW story Gray and I are currently writing. Because of how events panned out, a major quest hub is not going to exist anymore.
Not even exist.
Oh, good.
But not only that, because it's Taylor and she didn't want to just mass slaughter them, she made them route instead, which made them redivert all of those troops to a different landing site that originally failed in canon.
Yep.
Oh, good.
So...
Well, it succeeded, but it didn't succeed well.
Yeah. And in canon, this major quest hub was counterbalanced by the opposing faction's major quest hub in that area, and now effectively, there's only going to be one of those now.
And that honestly depends on what's happening and if the other faction even is still there.
Yeah, then the other faction could just give up on that area. That's true. But... Yeah. It drastically changing the political structure and the entire war campaign. And now we just have to sit here and be like, we're gonna have to write a fucking like 6K plus interlude chapter just to get the general gist of what changed because of it.
Man, why do we bother caring when like 90% of fanfic writers out there don't?
Because we make the good stories, they write the shit that we get to laugh at and be annoyed at.
That's fair enough.
Like, as much as I'm not a fan of his writing, at least FTDS understands the butterfly effect to some degree. It's not really saying much about him, but even he has some slight awareness of it.
Some, but not much.
Not much, no. His extent of butterfly awareness is how many people can Naruto fuck. That's pretty much it.
I wish that was wrong.
But anyway, I don't. Should we cover another fic before?
I've got 30 minutes. You can either cut it early or try and find a short one.
Okay. Let us try and find a quick fic to complain about. Just covered a worm fic. Oh, here we go. This one probably pretty bad. Oh, this one's gone.
Well, now
Definitely.
we know it's bad.
Definitely bad. Let's see. Different shades of ruby. How short are you? No, you're kind of long. How about this one? It's a gamer story. You're pretty short actually. Let's swap this over to covered fics, and I will link this out to all of you. Alright, so Gaming for Glory, a Ruby story. I am the Gamer, a beta tester for the most advanced reality gaming system out there. Developed by Metasoft Industries. Summed up, it's a augmented reality game on steroids, not on Earth, but a very, very familiar world to some of you readers. It's a world both you and I know. It's a world called Remnant. It's a real place, apparently, and I'm going there. And it's where I am telling you this story from. Ruby, by the way, says hi. That's the summary.
And already cringing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not normally one to do so, but that already has got me just kind of...
Woo! A few things to get out of the way before I start this story. Chapters 1 through 5 are very rough drafts. As in, I had a bad habit of not capitalizing letters or proofreading way back in the summer of 2015. And chapters 1 through 5 are also representative of the initial literary rhino charge I attempted to do to break through a long-standing writer's block. Expect more roughness than normal. Alright, so I'm actually not going to say anything about that. Nope, not going to say anything. I happened to notice that I had some old, raw, proofread chapters that I am now going to attempt to
May God destroy the makers of chair instruction manuals.
Gamer chair or dinner chair?
Gamer chair. I bought a
I
new
mean,
because the
you
chair.
could just learn basic comprehension.
Like, Jesus Christ, how much of a dumb bitch do you gotta be that you can't even put together a gamer chair? Like, Christ.
Sneaky, it was one page of fucking pictograms.
Yeah, the easiest.
Shitty
Yeah.
pictograms.
The easiest sort of chair.
Okay, hang on. I can fix this. Atin was the only language on that piece of paper Chinese.
Correct.
That explains it then.
I
They're not
look.
very good at instructions.
Hold on, I put together my chair, and it was in Chinese.
Congratulations. The point is, it had shitty pictograms, and that's why I'm late. Because I threw out my chair and I had to build a new chair.
I mean, you use a laptop. You could have just sat on. You could just chilled on your bed.
I mean, technically an option, but this is a gaming laptop. I'd rather not fry my dick and/or comforter.
Oh, please. It's not like you're using it anyway.
Okay, and the reason.
Funny. Yes, at least my dick gets more use than yours does, Mr. Alcoholic.
Am I supposed to be insulted by this?
No,
I think.
it's just a statement of fact.
I don't know. I'm surprised you didn't go for the immediate low ground joke, Sneaky.
What's that?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Oh, is it a masturbation joke about how he beats only off? You know, that must be the fellow that masturbates all day. Yada
I was
yada.
gonna say. I mean, he can make the joke, but it's not like there's fruit that hangs too low even for Sneaky to pick up.
I'm sorry, no.
No fruit is too low for Sneaky.
There is no fruit too low for me.
Him.
The problem here is that he kind of just broke my ability to make a comeback because what he said to me didn't register in my brain as a comeback.
Partially because you're drunk.
I'm not that drunk. I'm only like 5 shots in. Pretty sure it's 5. I'm gonna party it on up for you guys to mitigate issues 1 and 2. It is my sincere wish to you, the 400 odd subscribers, as of writing this, of 13th of July, 2016, that you enjoy as much as I enjoyed writing it. The moth is present. Holy shit, the fucking moth is here.
Wait, what?
Moth is here.
Holy shit.
Mon Dieu!
Just in time for a Gamer Ruby story, Moth. Waking up to loud noises and bright lights is never a happy occurrence. Exit stage left.
Cool. Thanks, Amazon. You just fucked me out of some really good deals.
Waking up in an unfamiliar location doesn't fall far behind either. So when I awoke, I was When I awoke to both, I was rather grumpy. The noise was a simple, classical piano
generally
piece.
speaking, when people wake up to an unknown location, they aren't annoyed, they're panicked and afraid.
I wouldn't be.
Sneaky, you've been kidnapped by the actual mafia. You've been actually kidnapped by the actual mafia.
I don't remember that.
Oh, I'm sorry, no, they didn't kidnap you. They threatened to put you in a car and do mean things to you.
Yeah, I think it's close enough. In hindsight, would have been rather pleasant and soothing.
What?
I do not understand what is occurring right now.
And maybe mystical if I was feeling generous. If it wasn't for the other factors?
Where is this story going?
I don't know. I was in a large circular room with a door behind me and an empty desk in front of me. Wait, so you're annoyed that you're waking up to the sound of a piano in an empty room that's round?
Generally speaking, if you're hearing things that aren't there, you should consult a psychiatrist.
Or, look for the speaker.
Well, yeah, but, we're going to assume that if he's in a round room, he can find a speaker.
Most of the rest of the room was dark. Myself and the furniture resided inside an island of light. To be completely fair and honest, however, it looked like someone tried to set up an office in the Drive to Heart sequence of Kingdom Hearts. With nothing else to do, I got up and approached the desk. A flat, machine-toned female voice issued from the speaker on the desk. Visit. Welcome, gamer. You have chosen or have been chosen to undergo one of our grandest experiments to date. Everyone calls it the gamer after the comic, which the concept originated from, and we at Metasoft aren't ones to mess with a good thing. You made an augmented reality device that allowed people to travel dimensions, and you're saying you're not one to mess with good things?
I would argue that you're messing with a number of things that shouldn't be messed with, really.
Yeah. This may be confusing if you are unfamiliar with the comic, but let us be short. You are now the gamer. That means an RPG is now your life, and you'll see everything in first person, too. Honestly, I think that would be the most disturbing change in a gamer story, is if suddenly you were forced into a third-person Ubisoft point of view.
Yeah.
Oh, God!
That
Can you imagine trying to... Actually, it would probably make driving easier explicitly for me and Sneaky.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know, I'm a pretty fucking awful driver when I have to do third person.
Okay, but Sneaky, at least you'd have a better idea of where things were.
That is true.
Actually, that's never helped him in GTA.
No, it hasn't.
But that's because he drives like a lunatic in GTA. Like, I'm saying, Sneaky, generally speaking, can behave like a semi-normal human being in the context of reality. Or legal consequences.
Okay, there we go.
And or legal Oh boy.
I just blinked in surprise. I was still groggy, hadn't had any coffee, and I was pretty disoriented. Okay, well, again, this is the second thing.
Yes, yet another person who's reliant on a chemical substance to awaken.
This is another thing I'm really confused about. If your body has been converted to the gamer, would you even have coffee dependence anymore?
Theoretically, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I was pretty disoriented, so intelligent replies were in short supply. I have a feeling they're in short supply a little bit more often than you're implying, author. The voice continued regardless of my ability to absorb the information. Unfortunately, we must offer our sincerest regrets and condolences, but due to the extensive negative feedback, your current home server is currently unavailable for this product.
Well, that's bullshit. I want a refund.
Yeah, fuck you.
Can I be refunded on my kidnapping?
Why would you put it like that?
What? Just put me on my home server. What's it hurt you guys? I'm gonna give you guys a smashing review, a fantastic review. 5 hours into being reborn. Would you like to rate the gamer?
Fucking.
Oh God! You know what? You know what? That's a story I would read. Shiro gets the gamer powers, but it's run by E EA.
So what are you saying? Every single year he has to buy the shortcut upgrades because the gamer entered into a new version and it disabled all of his previous DLCs?
Yes.
Hmm.
And like you can buy, right? He gets 6 bag spaces. He can buy more bag spaces for $10.99 a bag.
Ah, of course.
That's just making me upset.
Anyway, so we are currently working on resolving the issues, and in the meantime have prepared an available server for you. Metasoft would like to remind you that despite your new game-like nature, this is a real world and not some mindless pre-programmed NPC. Decisions you make will matter, particularly for you and those of the world. Death is permanent, and there are no do-overs. Alright, so second thing here is extensive negative feedback of your current
Home server.
I don't know whether that's supposed to be a joke about Earth.
It's a joke about how people don't got sick and tired of gamer stories, I think.
I don't know. Anyway. When you are ready, please take the letters we have prepared for you and step through the door to your new life. Metasoft wishes you a good day and thanks for participating in the closed beta. Honestly, I think a closed beta for gamer powers is probably the most terrifying fucking thing in existence.
Oh, sweet God, no. That should not be.
So fucking just start talking to an NPC and they're like, oh yeah, how are you doing? Their head just keeps rotating and rotating and fucking snaps at one point and just is like now embedded inside their chest, but it keeps rotating and then it pops back out.
Or like you try to open a door and you fall through the fucking world.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Where you use an ability and the particle effect goes off, but it does 0 damage because the damage wasn't programmed right, and so it's just returning a null value.
I'm sorry. All I can think of now would be Gilgamesh firing up the entirety of Enuma Elish only to get a null value.
Or other shit like in the Battlefield 3 closed beta, there was a bug where if you proned while aiming, your head didn't move.
I see.
So your head was 5 feet off the ground while your body was proning.
That's somewhat terrifying.
Yeah, oh yes. And the effect stayed. When you got up and your head would kind of just be like unmoving.
Oh my.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
This chair is still not tall enough. No chair has high enough armrests. God damn it.
The light illuminated the desk on the thickest manila envelope. I'm the gamer. I'm in another world. It's cool, awesome. Taking a breath. Instead of reading the envelopes, you just turn around and walk towards the door. Okay, cool.
Fucking brilliant, Gov!
Yeah, let me just not fucking check what the letters say.
I'm in a closed beta. I shouldn't read this.
I should make sure to not read any instructions or lore. Big brain! Grab letters, step through door, deliver letters. You are now rested. What? Rested. Why is that difficult? Alright, so he tried to step up, a foot stomps onto my back, I try to roll over, blah blah blah. 4 young girls are willing to tear me to shreds, and they're all dressed in their night clothes. It looks like they are getting ready to go to bed. I'm not a wimp, but I could just tell from looking at the 4 girls that I had no chance. Honestly, I think the only one that I would hesitate to pick a fight with would be Yang. And that's because Yang is definitely falling in the muscled tomboy look. And
more importantly, she goes around with an open shirt so that you can see the six-pack.
Yeah, and I don't have a six-pack, and as much of as it a meme it is for women and men to have strength contests, I'm still not going to put too much money on overpowering a woman who actively works out to get muscles as thick as hers. Sorry. Not gonna put money on that fight. The other ones, though, fucking, I'll probably try and take them. Probably get my shit kicked in.
But at least no one can say you never tried.
Didn't say I'd win.
Didn't say I'd win. Only that I'd try.
Ding, you have created a new skill, Danger Sense Passive, a unique Terran skill from the core world.
I hate everything they just said.
I'm sorry, but are you saying that people in Ruby don't have Danger Sense?
I'm sure that's someone's semblance, which by through logic, that means that no one else has it.
Max, according to Rooster Teeth logic, I'm sure someone's semblance is breathe air.
I mean, Maria's is reflexes, let's not forget.
My ability is hyper reflexes! It means I can dodge anything. Proceeds to not be able to dodge like fucking 9 hits in a row. Ruby, give me your eyes!
Maria was actually kind of cool when she showed up. And then Miles and Carrie continued to be writers on the show.
Yep.
True fact.
Factual information, indeed. Anyway, who the hell are you? How'd you get in here? Time slowed down to a crawl. Please enter your name. I tried to say my name, but my tongue sticks to the floor of my mouth, and the box turns red as it buzzes angrily at me. Invalid entry. Name must be different from old name.
Oh,
well,
fuck off.
You!
Fuck off.
I like my name.
My reflex was to enter my gamer tag, but actually being called that would wear thin.
I mean, for 2 out of the 3 people on the podcast right now, being called by our gamer tag wouldn't.
Yeah, what's wrong with Yashtar? That's a fine name to be called. Fucking Christ, I've been called Sneaky for over a decade. No, 2 decades. Am I really approaching 2 decades on that name?
Yes, you are.
Fuck.
It's setting in, I see.
You're fucking old!
No, yeah, holy shit, I am approaching 2 decades on that name, because I got it in 2001. Fuck.
Oh, how about that?
Fucking shit. Okay, I need to drink more. Drink my age away, I'll drink my sorrows away, and I'll find my answers at the bottom of the bottle.
You don't have to.
He has to.
No, he really doesn't. Stop encouraging him.
Anyway. I had a backup one. I kind of liked it. It felt silly, but I put it in anyway. My name is Cobalt Gin. I have as much clue as to why I am here as you do. I was kidnapped and I guess teleported here in a sort of a tag release system.
Wait. Atin, are you there?
I'm here. What?
Wasn't that the name of the OC we threw together for that shitpost Ruby homebrew that never went anywhere?
Fucking shit, it might be.
Is this the same fucking dude? I wonder, because that's.
I'm pretty sure I used Cobalt, but I don't know about the last name.
I feel like one of us used this name. That bothers me.
All right then. That is unfortunate. Blah 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 blah. They looking at the name was different on both envelopes. The manila one had bold stencil. The blue one had my name handwritten on the back with the words "Read me." Well, why the bleep not? Yeah, he actually bleeped it. Yeah, that's right. He had the character swear, but then bleeped out the swear. Okay. And down Alice went to the rabbit, never once considering how she was to get out again. I misquoted to myself as I tore open the letter. What? The letter says read me. And my
Please
name.
stop bastardizing poor fucking... just... Lewis Carroll has enough problems without being hideously misquoted, alright?
That's fair.
Like the drugs. In fact, mostly the drugs.
There was a lot of drugs. Drugs were involved in the creation of this work.
Significant drugs were involved in the creation of this work.
It asked me to find someone called Ozpin and deliver the envelope to him. You mean Ozpin the headmaster? I don't know, maybe it just says Ozpin. You expect us to believe you? I mean, yeah, kinda, sorta. You see,
Real
maybe...
fucking convincing there, kid.
Maybe Ozpin's letter has something in it. They all looked unsure. If it makes you feel better, I'll let you handcuff me or something.
Okay, first of all, where is Yang making a kinky joke?
No, nowhere. No Yang jokes here. Boo.
Even though this is literally the perfect opportunity.
Yes, several jokes could be made here, yes. And then Blake's like, man, you're awfully keen to be tied up. And it's like, no, he only said it once.
Blake?
He literally only said it once, and it was like, you know, if you guys don't trust me to, like... This is what I don't... This is fucking dumb. If you guys don't trust me to keep it on the level, you can always, like, handcuff me or something to restrict me. Oh, wow, you seem awfully keen to be tied up. I didn't... No. I said if you don't trust me, you can arrest me. What the fuck did you get tied up from?
What do you say? He said handcuff, not rope tie. Yang? Sneaky, is Yang in fact a succubus with plus 20 to use rope?
It's possible. But this is Blake we're talking about here.
By the way, I do love the fact that they created the use rope skill for what was essentially one joke.
I mean, there's lots of use for rope. It just happens to be that that joke is primarily the only one. For the record, I've not died or quit fanfiction. I just really like playing video games and watching YouTube. Sorry this story is so short. And can you guys better read this story for me, and I'll fix it as I go. Well, I'm glad we never have to look at this story again, and just in time too.
Oh yeah, how about that?
So, I will see everyone on Friday at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we are always here, and hopefully always will be. Yeah, and we should have uninterrupted. Things go down so Saturday and Sunday. Should be fine, yeah. Well, I'll update you guys on the change in schedule in the coming week. I'm not any concern right now. Anyway, see you all next time on Friday. There are always more, and it always gets worse.